This is All India Radio. I am Naresh Mago and with me is Abhishek Mukhopadhyay with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says India is moving ahead with the target of reducing its carbon footprint by 30 to 35%. Prime Minister inaugurates 5 state-of-the-art facilities to mark the 8th convocation of Pandit Deen Dayal Petroleum University. Prime Minister to virtually attend the 15th G20 summit beginning today. India summons Chargé d'Affaires of the Pakistan High Commission to lodge strong protest over Nagrota encounter. And national COVID-19 recovery rate reaches 93.67%. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, and focus on hand and face hygiene. Now the news. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that the global energy sector is witnessing a sea change due to the current pandemic, and this will create a huge opportunity for growth, entrepreneurship and employment in the Indian energy sector. Delivering the 8th convocation address at Pandit Deen Dayal Petroleum University PDPU Gandhinagar through video conferencing, Mr. Modi said that India is marching ahead with the target to reduce the carbon footprint by 30 to 35%.
आज देश अपने कार्बन फुटप्रिंट की 30 से 35% तक कम करने का लक्ष्य लेकर के आगे बढ़ रहा है। दुनिया के सामने जब ये बात लेकर के मैं गया, दुनिया को अचरज था, क्या भारत ये कर सकता है? प्रयास ये है कि इस दशक में अपनी ऊर्जा जरूरतों में नेचुरल गैस की हिस्सेदारी को हम 4 गुना तक बढ़ाएंगे। देश की ऑयल रिफाइनिंग कैपेसिटी को भी आने वाले 5 सालों में करीब 2 गुना करने के लिए काम किया जा रहा है।
The Prime Minister said, graduating during the time of global crisis is a big challenge for the young students, but the potential and capabilities of the students are much bigger than the global challenges. He appealed to the young students to transform their sense of responsibility into the sense of opportunity.
मुझे विश्वास है कि आप अपनी स्किल, अपने टैलेंट, अपने प्रोफेशनलिज्म से आत्मनिर्भर भारत की बड़ी ताकत बन के उभरेंगे। आज पीडीपीयू में जुड़े 5 अलग-अलग प्रोजेक्ट्स का भी उद्घाटन और शिलान्यास हुआ है। ये नई सुविधाएं पीडीपीयू को देश के एनर्जी सेक्टर का ही नहीं, बल्कि प्रोफेशनल एजुकेशन, स्किल डेवलपमेंट और स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम का एक अहम सेंटर बनाने वाली है।
The Prime Minister said a special fund has been created for helping startup ecosystem in the field of energy security.
देश की एनर्जी सिक्योरिटी से जुड़े स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम को मजबूत करने के लिए भी लगातार काम हो रहा है। इस सेक्टर के आप जैसे स्टूडेंट्स और प्रोफेशनल्स के लिए एक विशेष फंड भी बनाया गया है। अगर आपके पास भी कोई आइडिया हो, कोई प्रोडक्ट हो या कोई कंसेप्ट हो जिसे आप इंक्यूबेट करना चाहते हैं, तो ये फंड आपके लिए एक बेहतरीन अवसर भी है, एक सरकार की तरफ से तोहफा भी है।
Mr. Modi said that the world has high hopes and expectations from India, and India's hope and expectations are in turn connected with the young students. He said that we should not only march ahead, but we should march ahead much faster.
आज भारत में एनर्जी सेक्टर में ग्रोथ की, एंटरप्राइज स्पिरिट की, एम्प्लॉयमेंट की असीम संभावनाएं हैं। यानी आप सभी सही समय पर सही सेक्टर में पहुंचे हैं। इस दशक में सिर्फ ऑयल एंड गैस सेक्टर में ही लाखों करोड़ रुपए का निवेश होने वाला है। इसलिए आपके लिए रिसर्च से लेकर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग तक अवसर ही अवसर है।
Recalling his 1.5-decade association with the PDPU Gandhinagar, Prime Minister Modi asked the Gujarat government to expand the scope of the PDPU from petroleum to the energy sector. He suggested to change the law if required for doing so. Earlier, Prime Minister Modi inaugurated 5 state-of-the-art facilities to mark the 8th convocation of Pandit Deen Dayal Petroleum University PDPU in Gandhinagar today through the virtual mode. These include 45 megawatt production of monocrystalline solar photovoltaic panels set up by GEDA at a cost of 17 crore rupees. Mr. Modi also launched the PDPU Technology Business Incubator with a fund of 22 crore rupees. He inaugurated the sports complex set up by Sports Authority of Gujarat at a cost of 15 crore rupees. The Prime Minister also inaugurated the Indo-EU bilateral project under Horizon 2020 India H2O for industrial waste and desalination and PDPU's Translational Research Centre. AIR Ahmedabad correspondent reports that about 2,600 students received their degree certificates on this occasion. More than 40 scholars received their PhD degrees from the dignitaries, who also conferred medals of merit upon 77 students. The Pandit Deen Dayal Petroleum University, popularly known as PDPU and accredited with NAAC with a high A grade, was established through the State Act on 4th April 2007. Gujarat Chief Minister Vijay Rupani was present on the occasion as the guest of honour. Mukesh Ambani, the President of the Board of Governors of PDPU and Chairman of Reliance Industries, presided over the function.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will attend the 15th G20 summit beginning today. The two-day summit will be chaired by Saudi Arabia and the theme is realizing the opportunities of 21st century for all. The meeting will be held in a virtual format. The summit is the second G20 leaders meeting this year. The focus of the G20 summit will be on inclusive, resilient and sustainable recovery from the COVID-19. During the summit, the leaders will discuss pandemic preparedness and the ways and means to restore jobs. Following the telephonic conversation between the Prime Minister and the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, the last G20 Extraordinary Leaders Summit was held in March this year, where the leaders developed a timely understanding among the G20 countries to help contain the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic and to forge a global coordinated response. India will enter the G20 Troika along with Saudi Arabia when Italy will take over the presidency of the G20 on 1st of December this year. Minister of State for Power, New and Renewable Energy R.K. Singh has said that India has done tremendously well in the renewable energy sector and every major company in the world is interested in investing in India. Talking exclusively to AIR about the third Global Renewable Energy Investment Meeting and Expo Reinvest 2020, the minister said $64 billion worth of investment has been made in the renewable energy sector in the past 5 to 6 years.
We are the fastest growing country as far as renewable energy capacity is concerned. We have opened bids and all the major companies in the world come and bid. So every major company in the world is interested in India, is invested in India. In fact, for the past 5-6 years, our investments in renewable energy have totaled up to almost $64 billion. It is one of the highest sectors as far as FDI is concerned.
Mr. Singh said the government is taking measures to expand solar energy manufacturing.
In solar energy manufacturing also we have capacity here and we are exporting part of that as well. But we want that to expand and it is going to expand. It is going to expand for two reasons. Number one, we are going to impose customs duty. We have found that some countries have been dumping equipment at very low prices in India so as to kill local manufacturing. So we set up safeguard duty and now we are going to replace it with customs duty. So that is a long term. And that will also further encourage manufacturers to set up manufacturing here.
The Prime Minister will inaugurate the Reinvest 2020 on the 26th of this month. Several world leaders, energy ministers of 70 countries and 200 eminent speakers will take part in the two-day virtual conference.
The Union Minister Prakash Javadekar today said India is the only country on track to achieve the 2-degree centigrade goal under the Paris Agreement among all the G20 nations. In a tweet, Mr. Javadekar said India is walking the talk on climate change. He added that the 2-degree centigrade goal aims to keep the global temperature rise below 2 degrees centigrade from the pre-industrial levels by 2100. India has conveyed its strong concern to Pakistan on the terror attack planned by Jaish-e-Mohammed in Jammu and Kashmir. Pakistani Chargé d'Affaires was summoned by the External Affairs Ministry today and a strong protest was lodged at the attempted attack. It was demanded that Pakistan desist from its policy of supporting terrorists and terror groups operating from its soil and dismantle the terror infrastructure operated by terrorist outfits to launch attacks in other countries. India reiterated its long-standing demand that Pakistan fulfill its international obligations and bilateral commitments to not allow any territory under its control to be used for terrorism against India in any manner. The External Affairs Ministry said in a statement that India is firmly and resolutely committed to take all necessary measures to safeguard its national security in the fight against terrorism. A major attack was foiled by Indian security forces in Nagrota, Jammu and Kashmir on the 19th of this month. Initial reports indicate the attackers to be members of Pakistan-based Jaish-e-Mohammed, a terrorist organization proscribed by the United Nations and several countries. JEM has been part of several attacks in India in the past, including the Pulwama attack in February last year. The ministry said the huge cache of arms, ammunition and explosive materials indicate detailed planning for a major attack to destabilize peace and security in Jammu and Kashmir and to derail the ongoing local district development council elections.
In Jammu and Kashmir, an army soldier attained martyrdom as Pakistani army troops violated ceasefire along the LOC in North Shera sector of Rajouri district in the wee hours today. AIR Jammu correspondent reports that the martyred soldier has been identified as Havaldar Patil Sangram Shivaji. The development has come 2 days after 4 heavily armed JEM terrorists were killed in an encounter on the Jammu-Srinagar National Highway at Ban Toll Plaza in Nagrota in the outskirts of Jammu. The unprovoked firing from across the LOC in Lam area of North Shera sector took place around 1 a.m., resulting in critical injuries to the martyred Havaldar, who died later. Union Home Minister Amit Shah today laid foundation stone for several infrastructure projects worth over 67,300 crore rupees in Chennai. The Home Minister also dedicated a major reservoir near Chennai to cater to the city's water requirements. Here is a detailed report from a Chennai correspondent.
The Chennai airport and the program venue of Union Home Minister Amit Shah in the city is decked up with the artistic patterns of plantain trees to welcome him in a traditional fashion. The major projects he is slated to kickstart today include Phase 2 of the 61,843 crore metro rail works in Chennai. He launches works for the 1,620 crore rupees elevated road project in the arterial Avinashi Road in Coimbatore. The works for the other projects that he rolls out today include Indian Oil's new terminal and a lube plant, expansions of the Chennai Trade Center and the Kamarajar Port at Ennur, and a new barrage across the river Kaveri in Karur district. He dedicates the Thervai Kandigai Reservoir in Tiruvallur district, the fifth water body to meet Chennai's water needs. He is scheduled to hold a meeting with the key leaders of the state BJP, aimed at gearing the party to face the state assembly general elections that are expected to be held in about 6 months. Jai Singh, AIR News, Chennai.
Karnataka State Congress President D.K. Shivakumar has informed that CBI has issued summons to him to appear before them in reference to the money laundering case. Speaking to media persons in Bengaluru today, he said the CBI sleuths had visited his office on November the 19th, but since he was busy with his daughter's engagement, summons were issued to him to appear before them on November 23rd. He further added that since he is touring North Karnataka on that date, he has sought permission to appear on November 25. In October, CBI had conducted raids at D.K. Shivakumar's 14 properties in Karnataka, Mumbai and New Delhi. In September last year, he was lodged in Tihar jail regarding a money laundering case probed by the Enforcement Directorate.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says India is moving ahead with a target of reducing its carbon footprint by 30 to 35%. Prime Minister inaugurates 5 state-of-the-art facilities to mark the 8th convocation of Pandit Deen Dayal Petroleum University. Prime Minister to virtually attend the 15th G20 summit beginning today. India summons Shastri Affairs of Pakistan High Commission to lodge strong protests over Nagrota encounter. And the national COVID-19 recovery rate reaches 93.67%. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi reviewed the preparedness of delivery, distribution and administration of COVID-19 vaccine in a meeting yesterday, appreciating the innovators, scientists, academicians and pharma companies in their efforts to develop vaccines. The Prime Minister said that every effort should be made to facilitate the research, development and manufacturing of the vaccines. 5 vaccines are in advanced stages of development in India, out of which 4 are in phase 2 or 3 and 1 is in phase 1 or 2. Countries such as Bangladesh, Myanmar, Qatar, Bhutan, Switzerland, Bahrain, Austria and South Korea have shown keen interest in partnering for vaccine development of Indian vaccines and use thereof. In an effort to administer the vaccine at the first available opportunity, database of healthcare and frontline workers, augmentation of cold chains and procurement of syringes and needles are in advanced stages of preparation. The vaccination supply chain is being enhanced and non-vaccine supplies are being escalated. Medical and nursing students and faculty will be involved in training and implementation of the vaccination program. Every step is being steadily put in place to ensure that vaccines reach every location and person according to the prioritization principles. The Prime Minister also directed to work in collaboration with all reputed national and international institutions and regulators to ensure the rigor and highest global standards in Indian research and manufacturing. The government has provided assistance of 900 crore rupees under COVID Suraksha mission to support research and development of COVID-19 vaccination. With 46,232 COVID-19 infections, India's total cases have touched 90,50,598. With 564 new deaths in the last 24 hours, the death toll has gone up to 1,32,726. The Health Ministry has said active cases stand at 4,39,747. The total discharged cases are 84,78,124. In the past 24 hours, 49,715 people have been discharged. With this, the recovery rate has reached 93.67%. Indian Council of Medical Research (ICMR) has said the total number of samples tested till yesterday was 13,657,808. It includes 10,66,022 samples tested yesterday.
India has crossed yet another landmark in the fight against the COVID pandemic by conducting 10,66,022 sample tests in the last 24 hours. This is in line with India's commitment to conduct more than 1 million tests every day and has increased India's total cumulative tests to 13,6,57,808. The last 1 crore tests were conducted in a span of just 10 days. An average of more than 10 lakh tests conducted daily has ensured that the cumulative positivity rate is sustained at low levels and is presently following a downward trajectory. The cumulative national positivity rate stands at 6.93% today, less than the 7% mark. The daily positivity rate yesterday was just 4.34%. Higher volumes of testing eventually leads to low positivity rate. With a continuous surge in daily cases in European and the American countries, India is taking all precautionary steps to keep the trajectory of the disease under control. Centers advise all states and UTs to ramp up testing in view of the increase in COVID cases in some of the North Indian states. The ICU beds in Delhi have increased by 205 in central government hospitals. Delhi government hospitals and private hospitals following the meeting held by Home Minister Amit Shah to ramp up medical infrastructure for COVID surge. Home Ministry said 116 oxygenated beds have been added in central government hospitals and AIIMS. Uttar Pradesh government has issued instructions to carry out survey of private hospitals on same lines as done by multidisciplinary teams set up by the Home Ministry. A total of 125 ventilators from Bharat Electronics Limited has reached Delhi and house-to-house survey has also begun. ICMR has increased the RT-PCR testing capacity from 27,000 tests per day to 37,200 per day on directions of the Home Minister. Over 30,700 RT-PCR samples were collected in Delhi on the 19th of November as compared to 12,055 RT-PCR samples on the 15th of this month.
In Bihar, the recovery rate of COVID-19 has reached 97.04%, with 2.23 lakh patients getting cured till date. In the past 24 hours, 794 new cases have been reported across the state. Though the total caseload of COVID-19 has surpassed the 2.29 lakh mark in the state. The active cases are only 5,603. More from our correspondent.
In the past 24 hours, 245 cases have been reported in Patna district. The state capital city is witnessing the highest number of contractions per day in comparison to other districts of the state. Till date, more than 40,000 cases have been registered in Patna. Muzaffarpur, Bhagalpur, Purnia and East Champaran are the districts where case load is over 7,000. According to a state health bulletin, death toll has gone up to 1,212 in the state. For better tracking and treatment of corona patients, the number of tests has been increased manifold in the state. Dharmendra Kumar Rai, AIR News, Patna.
In Karnataka, the COVID-19 positivity rate has further declined to 1.46% and case fatality rate too has declined to 0.95%. Since October the 11th, the day-wise new positive cases are declining. It reported 1,781 new COVID cases yesterday and 2,181 recoveries. The state has recorded a healthy recovery rate of 95.8%. The total active cases have come down to 24,752, out of which only 539 are in ICU. 17 deaths were reported yesterday. Out of 30 districts, 21 districts reported 0 deaths. The time taken to double the COVID cases has gone up to 68 days. Bengaluru Urban District continues to report the highest number of new cases. It reported 1,067 new cases yesterday and 6 deaths. The district has 17,663 active cases.
Telangana state reported 925 fresh cases of COVID during the past 24 hours. With this, the total cases reported in the state has gone up to 2,62,653. The recovery rate has marginally improved to 94.86%, with 1,367 more people recovering yesterday. This took the number of recovered people so far in the state to 2,49,157. In Mizoram, 66 fresh cases of coronavirus infection were detected in the last 24 hours, while 40 patients were discharged from hospitals after recovery during the same period. The total number of positive cases now stands at 3,607. The recovery rate is also improved to 86.55%. So far in the state, 3,111 infected people have recovered from the disease and 491 persons are undergoing treatment in COVID centers and hospitals.
In Tripura, the recovery rate of COVID-19 has further improved to 96.26%, with 31,061 getting cured till date. 75 new cases were reported in the past 24 hours, while 116 patients recovered. With the patient's death yesterday, the death toll in the state has gone up to 363. According to the State Health Bulletin, the total number of cases rose to 32,292 and there are 842 active cases. In a bid to provide public health service to the last person in the society, the central government in the year 2018 had launched the Ayushman Bharat Yojana. Under this scheme, there are more than 50,000 Ayushman Bharat Health and Wellness Centers, HWCs, that are functioning in the country, out of which 6,381 centers are in Maharashtra. A staggering 4,111 of them are in the remote corners of the state. Our correspondent reports that these centers are providing regular health services to the people.
Through the Health and Welfare Centers, comprehensive primary health service has been provided to newborn babies, mothers and adolescents. These centers serve in controlling the contagious disease. The HWCs also oversee the implementation of the Union Health Ministry's e-Sanjeevani platform. Under this, patient-to-doctor, OPD service and doctor-to-doctor consultation are also provided. During the COVID-19 pandemic too, the HWCs played an important role in contact tracing, community inspection and quick identification of patients. Kunal Shinde, AIR News, Mumbai.
Amid a spike in COVID cases in Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat, night curfew has been imposed in several cities of the two states from tonight. The Gujarat government has decided to impose night curfew in Surat, Vadodara and Rajkot from 9 p.m. tonight. Deputy Chief Minister Nitin Patel told media persons that the night curfew will remain in force from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. until further orders. He appealed to people not to panic and stay away from rumour as there are enough beds available in hospitals. Earlier, weekend curfew was imposed in Ahmedabad from 9 p.m. yesterday to curb the rising cases of coronavirus. Madhya Pradesh has also decided to impose night curfew in 5 cities due to increasing coronavirus cases in the state. US President Donald Trump's eldest son, Donald Trump Jr., has tested positive for COVID-19. His spokesman said that he is quarantining without symptoms. The 42-year-old Donald has been completely asymptomatic so far and is following all medically recommended COVID-19 guidelines, the spokesman said. Trump Jr.'s positive test follows infections for a string of others connected to the White House, including his father, who was hospitalized, the president's wife, Melania, and Trump's youngest son, Barron.
The News Services Division of All India Radio, in its bilingual live phone-in program tonight, will bring you a special discussion on COVID-19. This can be heard on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. Dr. Nitesh of Safdarjung Hospital will participate in the discussion. Listeners can ask questions to the experts on toll-free number 1-800-115767. You can also ask questions on telephone number 011-2331-4444 and post queries on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alert by hashtag AskAir. This program will also be available on our website newsonair.com and on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official. You can also follow us on the News on AIR app for updates. Well-known Telugu poet and Kendriya Sahitya Academy awardee Sheikh Khwaja Hussain, popularly known as Devi Priya, died of brief illness in Hyderabad this morning. He was 69. Born in Guntur district of Andhra Pradesh, Devi Priya worked as a journalist with popular Telugu and English dailies. He had also penned award-winning lyrics for several Telugu films and was associated with Telugu literary movements since the early 70s. Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao and Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Y.S. Jagan Mohan Reddy have condoled the demise of Devi Priya.
The 4-day-long celebrations of Chhath Puja concluded this morning with devotees paying oblation to the rising sun in different parts of the country. The festival, which began on Wednesday, concluded with devotees offering Prata Arghai to the rising sun and ending the 36-hour-long fast by taking Chhath Prasad. This is called Paran. World Fisheries Day has been celebrated today. The day is observed every year on the 21st of November to demonstrate solidarity with all fisherfolk communities, fish farmers and concerned stakeholders throughout the world.
Today is the World Television Day. It is observed every year on the 21st of November. The United Nations adopted a resolution to this effect in 1996 in recognition of the increasing impact of the audiovisual media on the decision-making and its potential role in sharpening the focus on other major issues. Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. The national capital will have a hazy sky. The minimum temperature was 8 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 25 degrees Celsius. In Mumbai, sky will be partly cloudy and the minimum temperature was 22, maximum will be around 33. Chennai will have a partly cloudy sky with temperatures hovering between 25 and 33 degrees Celsius. On to the north in Srinagar, generally cloudy sky is expected with the minimum temperature at 2 degrees Celsius and the maximum at 11 degrees. In Jammu, the minimum temperature was 7 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 23 and the city will witness a mainly clear sky. In Leh, the sky will be partly cloudy and the temperatures will hover between minus 12 degrees Celsius and around 7 degrees. Gilgit will experience a generally clear sky and the temperatures will hover between minus 3 and 13 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad is expected to have mainly clear sky with temperatures between 4 and 17 degrees Celsius. And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says India is moving ahead with the target of reducing its carbon footprint by 30 to 35%. Prime Minister inaugurates 5 state-of-the-art facilities to mark the 8th convocation of Pandit Deen Dayal Petroleum University. Prime Minister to virtually attend the 15th G20 summit beginning today. India summons Shahid Affair of Pakistan High Commission to lodge strong protest over Nagrota encounter, and national COVID-19 recovery rate reaches 93.67%. And with that, we end the midday news.